Thank you, Cora. Farmers are on the cusp of losing farms, Minister, due to the financially crippling fertiliser costs which are burying local farmers in debt due to mainly crazy green policies. Irish farmers are experiencing, the average fertiliser price a year ago, Ministers, were at a costly high of 300 per tonne. Today's prices have skyrocketed, with Ken fertiliser costing Irish farmers more than 600 per tonne and urea more than 900 per tonne. Consequently, for a typical mid-sized farmer feeding 120 tonnes of ration and using 30 tonnes of fertiliser per year, the rise in input costs will add 23,400 in additional costs. The main driver for increased fertiliser costs in Europe is a record natural gas prices due to the government's agenda to decarbonise electricity generation through overzealous and half-baked green policies. EU policy to protect the continent's fertiliser producers by imposing import levies on fertilisers is also having an impact. Just a few weeks ago, at the Oireachtas Agricultural Committee meeting, I challenged Mr Fabian Santini, the EU Commissioner for Agriculture, on the origins and the response to the crisis. Mr Santini's reply was that each Member State government has given the latitude to provide unique farmer support through relaxations and state aid framework. This mechanism is currently only available until 2022. And Minister, I can't understand for the life of us why this government hasn't used this mechanism that's there, that Mr Santini told us that's there. So I appreciate maybe you would answer that in a minute.
Thank you, Ken Corlea, and I'm here on behalf of Minister McConalogue, who's away at the moment. And I would like to thank the deputies for raising this important matter. The very significant rise in fertiliser prices in the last year, and particularly in recent months, is particularly concerning, and my department is closely monitoring the situation. While there are a number of factors at play in the market, there is no sign of fertiliser prices easing in the short to medium term. There are no fertilisers manufactured in Ireland. Rather, fertiliser companies blend a number of imported fertiliser products into different compositions suitable for agricultural use in Ireland. Indigenous fertiliser companies are dependent on global supply and demand and subject to euro exchange rates against the US dollar and other currencies on the price they pay for fertiliser. The well-publicised rise in gas prices, which is a key input in nitrogen fertiliser production, has contributed significantly to the upward trend in fertiliser prices. Furthermore, an exasperating factor is an increased demand for fertiliser from large grain-producing countries, which is being fuelled by strong global grain markets. This increased global demand has impacted on supplies and added to upward pressure on prices. The imposition of anti-dumping tariffs from certain third countries is, of course, an additional, albeit secondary factor when imported into the EU from these producing countries. Therefore, it is clear that there have been a confluence of issues over the past 12 months or so, all having an upward effect on global fertiliser prices. Energy prices remain well above January 2021 levels, and transport costs have also added to the price increases. In October 2021, Minister McConalogue requested Teagasc to lay out a credible roadmap to assist farmers in the short term, as well as offering a long-term solution in the move to reduce dependency on chemical fertilisers and the Soils, Nutrients and Fertiliser campaign was launched on the 26th of January, just gone by. Teagasc has put together a comprehensive information pack for farmers and their advisors through a compendium of 20 fact sheets to optimise the use of plant nutrients and to help farmers address the challenge of maintaining their farm outputs in the face of rising fertiliser costs and reduced availability. Teagasc are working with farmers through the Soils, Nutrients and Fertiliser campaign to help them adapt to the current fertiliser market and to support them to make informed decisions on what's best for their farms. This is a strategy that can ease the price pressure on farmers, and it is a strategy that will be good for the environment and good for farmers' pockets. At the November Agriculture and Fisheries Council, Minister McConalogue raised the increased challenge faced by farmers due to the rising costs of inputs. The EU Commission was called upon to consider all options to ease the pressure on farmers at this time, including the question of whether the imposition of anti-dumping duties on fertiliser imports continues to be appropriate, and for this matter to be examined as a priority. Following the November meeting, Minister McConalogue wrote to the EU Commissioner Wojciechowski requesting that the Commission's assessment of the ongoing appropriateness of anti-dumping duties on fertiliser is completed as a matter of priority. The EU Commission responded on 26th of January to say that they are still collecting information to establish the relevant facts. In addition, a new €1 million initiative by my department will support the planting of multi-species swards in order to reduce dependency on fertiliser. This scheme will support farmers to use multi-species grass when reseeding. It will mean a mixture of complementary species will be sown, including clover, which will enable farmers to significantly reduce their use of nitrogen. A pilot soil sampling programme has also been introduced by my department, which will give farmers comprehensive details of the soil health and soil condition of their farm. This should again help them, provide them with the critical information to make farm management decisions and nutrient inputs to the most efficient levels. With fertiliser prices constituting such a high portion of a farmer's expenditure, we are aware that the impact of continued high fertiliser prices will have a negative effect on farmers' businesses. Ireland, unfortunately, will remain a fertiliser price taker in this regard.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you.
Deputy Collins,
thank you very much, Minister. But you said your department are closely monitoring the fertiliser crisis. In the name of God, it's going on for the last 7 or 8 months. Nothing from the Department of Agriculture has happened. Mr Santini of the EU Ag Commission, which I said earlier on, said this country can intervene on this matter. You failed to do that. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and the Greens are going to wipe out the farmers of this country. You have an opportunity in this country to do this, and you fail to do that. And why are you? It's extraordinary that this government has so far failed to use this tool they can in this country to assist our burden farmers to mitigate the higher global prices of farm inputs. And it is shameful that you have not done so. You're talking about tags. You're talking about collecting information. The information is there. The farmers are facing a massive crisis when they go to their co-ops. They are unable to purchase the goods, or they are unable to pay for the goods. So would you kindly intervene, like we've had to do with fodder crisis previously, and at least take your hands out from underneath yourselves and do something for these farmers, and not stand idly by at the other side there and tell us what you're thinking about doing something, or you're looking into it.
Deputies, again, I would like to reiterate that the cost of fertilisers has nothing to do with green policies. It is a global price increase because of gas prices. Globally, gas prices have increased, and if you've been following any of the current affairs at the moment, you'll be aware of that. Fertiliser is essentially made from gas. So if gas price goes up, fertiliser price goes up. I can't really be much clearer than that. We have engaged, as I said, with the EU Commissioner on Agriculture, and we have requested that they assess one of the aspects in terms of the appropriateness of the anti-dumping duties. Now, we are making inroads into that. We are hoping that the EU Commission will respond with some positive news on that. And certainly my colleague Minister McConalogue has been seeking that as a priority. The measures I did outline are practical measures. We are ultimately on a roadmap here to actually. No, not at all. To actually allow, no, you're wrong. It's to enable farmers to become sustainable, so their farms are sustainable for future generations. The current model doesn't work. Now, we cannot leave farmers at a loose end with no fertiliser. We need to support farmers to adapt to farming practices that require. And you should know, Deputy. I understand you're an organic farmer. You should know. You should be able to. You should be sharing your knowledge. You should be sharing your knowledge as an organic farmer to your colleagues. You should share that knowledge with your colleagues. And my department is working hard. We have commitments within our climate action plan to reduce the amount of fertiliser we do. My department is working really hard to put in place measures that will support farmers. If you actually bothered to listen to my response at the start, you would have heard a number of measures outlined. I'll gladly share with you my response, and you can follow up on some of those comments there. Thank you.
Please. Not serving anyone's interest with this carry on. Now.